Well, party people, you're fine. No matter how old
I
you
assume
are,
none of this
you're
was
fine.
making it into the video. I had no idea what was gonna.
We don't know what's gonna make it into the video or not.
Oh, well, all right.
What's happening, party people? Welcome to Bunch More Party. My name is Daniel. This is Father Greg, and we're here for our best board games of the month of September. Mm-hmm. So we both realized that September was kind of a light month for both of us.
For sure.
So we're going to kind of just blitz through these games and see what you think about them. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of these games. If you're excited about any of them, what you were playing this month in September, what you really enjoyed, so that we can kind of maybe keep our eye out for those titles as well. So as you know, we talk about every game that we've played in the month of September, and then we tell you what our best board game that we played in the month of September is at the end of the video. So stick around for that.
Right.
Father Greg.
Sure. I started off with a little, solo game. Some of my board game friends left me, and I've been left to indulge in solo board gaming. The awful world of solo board gaming.
You often have at least a solo game.
That's right. Yeah, I do. So this was the Fredman Freeze Classic Friday.
Wow.
So I haven't played this game in a long time, and I saw it on the shelf. I was like, you know what? I should just pull this off. It's like half an hour. I could be done this game.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. And I lost because there's a trick. Like, I think once you kind of like figure it out, you're like, oh, okay, I got this. But once you haven't played it in like 2-3 years, you're like, oh, this is hard again. And it was close. It was close. You know.
Is it all card based?
More or less, yeah. You take cards, but to defeat them, you have to like kind of spend life points.
Okay.
But when you defeat like certain cards, you win them into your deck. It's like your deck gets better.
Okay.
And when you lose certain cards, sometimes you can lose, but you like get rid of cards from your deck. So it's a kind of balance of like what cards are worth spending your life points on to gain. Okay. But then what cards are like not that great, and so you're happy to lose to those cards because you'll thin out your deck and like.
It's interesting. This was a solo game before solo games were cool.
Yeah. This is like
the original kind of deal. I've held this game in my hand like all through my gaming career. I've been in board game stores with this in my hand every once in a while.
Yeah, it's a solid game.
I don't think I'll ever play it.
I could give it to you. For sure.
Okay, for me, at the very beginning of September, we ended off our Andor the Family Fantasy game campaign. So we finished the whole thing.
Yeah.
We played all of the missions.
Wow.
The last mission has this like big troll that he shows up at different caverns, and you roll the dice to see where he goes next after you scare him away with a torch. This is just a kid's version of Andor.
Right.
And it's lovely and it's delightful and it works really, really well, and all the family can play it. So we just love it so much. As the games go on, you do kind of the more advanced quests. Mm-hmm. But basically what happens is near the end of the game, all of the quests, so the final quests, all kind of have a random element to them, where like a certain character is hidden amidst the fog tokens. So like that quest could be over in like a minute or take like turn after turn. You're looking through the fog. And so a lot of the end quests have this kind of random element where you're just looking for things. And so that was getting hairy. Like just trying to be like, okay, we're almost there. We just gotta find. Okay, go look for some more. No, dragon. And they're quests that like make the end game more imminent as well. So the kids were getting a little bit anxious. They were like, "We don't like. Why is this happening to us?" But we made it. We did it.
Wow,
so good. The pattern for us as we played this game was we would play a set of scenarios, lose. Then play again and win. Right. So we did that every single time. So we played this game double the amount that we could have.
Got it.
But we just kind of like got our butts kicked and then realized, so this is what we need to do. And then did it. Anyway, Andor Family Fantasy game. Love it to pieces.
I did go over to Father Dan's new place and we played a game of Fields of Green.
Oh, Fields of Green!
Yeah, Fields of Green.
I was expecting Arl.
No. Fields of Green. This is a farming game.
Among the Stars re-implementation here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, it's a fun...
Stupid square cards.
Yes, square cards. You put a little water tower, and then you get like different fields, but some fields want to be close to your, like you need like close to your water tower so they can get water for their fields, but then like you got like livestock, but like livestock maybe you don't want to put next to your corn because I don't know, they'll eat it or something. I don't really know why. They seem to be fenced in. It doesn't seem to be a problem, but you know, you can't do it. Or like the cows want to be next to the sheep. Why? I don't know, but they do. And so you kind of like pattern out your little board, and yeah, it's just it's a lovely game.
Nice. How did you do at it? Did you score pretty good?
That's a good question. Yeah, I won. Look at that.
Take that, Father Dan. Okay, next, I had some friends over while the Payback pay-per-view was on the TV.
Ooh.
And Colum, Jacinta, and myself, we played a game of Villainous.
While watching Payback.
Well, I was sort of half watching.
Yeah.
You know. So played Villainous. So Villainous is great. Like, I really enjoy Villainous. Sarah does not. And so it just doesn't get played because there's not a whole lot of people. The market for Villainous is shallow. Like, it's really tough to find someone who loves Disney and loves a fairly complicated card battler.
Yeah.
And so it's weird. But we pulled it out and it was great. Now, this play I realized, like, I still love the game. I really enjoy Villainous. The thematic nature of Villainous is just so engaging. Where it's like, I feel like I'm in the movies. I feel like I'm doing what the bad guy's trying to do in the movies.
Right.
The way that the fate deck operates, where other players can play cards on you that do things.
They
that
play the heroes into your deck.
Yeah, they play the heroes. So, like, if I'm Jafar, and then Abu gets played on me, he steals the lamp.
Right.
Like, it's like, this is great. Like, I love that kind of interaction. I was scarred this time around. So I had to, like, get a bunch of the heroes, like, they were played onto my thing, and then I would take them into my, like, tribe, into my sort of pride, if you will. And so, fun stuff. But at the end of the day, this game is just, like, rinse and repeat. You just move your action pawn to a spot, do a couple things, get some power, spend the power, play some cards out. Just you do that until, like, everything lines up for you to accomplish your goal. So it does feel like the game plays you a little bit. It does feel like, but I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. It's kind of great. It's kind of great. I just really like Villainous. I can see right through it, but I enjoy it.
You're right. A shallow pool of players, but I think if you find that pool that really enjoys that. My one complaint is that I think it just goes on for too long, especially if you get good at it.
Yes.
Because you can stop each other. Like, once you see, like, if I don't really know, you're trying to collect a bunch of people into your pride, and so you just, like, manage to do it, and like, without me stopping, then, the game can be over in, like, half an hour.
Yes.
But if I'm, like, keenly watching you, like, I gotta stop him, and I gotta stop...
If you play properly, and you all explain what you're up to before the game starts, then any game that has the same complaint leveled against it as Munchkin is kind of doomed. But yet Villainous still pulls it off somehow, and I don't know why. It's an intangible.
Right.
It's intangible for me.
Nice. Cool. Well, we have been with Marion Dallas exploring the world of Everdell. And so we played Pearlbrook last time, and this time we played Spire Crest.
Okay.
So
what does Spire Crest add?
So it adds... So there's 4 seasons, throughout the year. So it adds, like, something different in each season. Usually something bad, like some, like, negative thing that's like, in spring, all of your things cost an extra stone to build.
Okay.
But then, like, you also get this card, and this card will give you also some, like, benefits throughout the game. So you can, like, put one of your little tiny squirrels on top of a giant moose, and then, like, the moose can go to, like, where other people are. Like, if they're in that spot, you're like, I'm going to go there too, and it's fine, because you're riding a big old moose, and so on. So it basically adds, like, what is like the last turn, which is the journey, which is you just, like, discard cards to gain points, like the very last turn of the game. That becomes the whole of the Spire Crest thing. Is like your rabbit is going on this journey, like, through the mountains and stuff like that. At the very end, you actually get this journey, and it's like you've traveled through the sulfurous swamp and the clamoring cliffs, and then you have to, like, get enough resources to, like, make it through your journey, and then if you do, you get, like, a bunch of points and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's an interesting, like, I think Marion Dallas like Pearlbrook better than Spire Crest.
Okay.
And I think that's probably fair, but we had a good time anyways.
Okay. So. Interesting. I'm excited to keep on hearing updates about how this all works for you guys. Okay, so next we had another church game night. I'm usually busy during these things, but near the end of the night I was able to sit down and play a couple of games, and I played another game of Nova Luna.
Wow.
This is kind of becoming it's an easy go-to. It plays pretty quick. I've been playing it quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I played it a bit this month. I played here, and then we played it together. And then I played it again on BGA. Mm-hmm. So this is just a pattern building game with tiles.
Right.
And it has that interesting mechanism where on your turn you can select one of the 3 tiles that are ahead of the moon token. Mm-hmm. And then that tile has a cost on it, so then you move your token along the board, around the board, that many spaces. And then whoever is furthest behind is always their next turn. Right. And so the less you spend on a tile, time-wise, you can do multiple turns in a row. And you're just kind of building patterns of these 4 different color tiles. And then on the tiles are little circles that indicate the kind of pattern they want built off of them. And so when you do them, you take one of your tokens and you place it on that little circle, and you're just racing to get rid of all 20 of your tokens before your opponent does. Mm-hmm. This is lovely. I've kind of cracked the code on at least a little bit how you play this game in terms of just playing it based on looking at what you already have set up and then finding tiles that kind of fit into what you already got going on instead of trying to set out on a whole new thing. Right. And you kind of want to build at least one big chunk of one color. Right. Because then as the game goes on, you can easily pick up tiles that are looking for like 4 blue chained together. And then you can just add that on to the end of that. Right. So my strategy right now is kind of build at least 1 or 2 big clumps of colors and then just take tiles based on if they're going to get rid of all your tokens or not. Right. Or more. What did you think of this?
Yeah, this game, I enjoyed it too. It's a very abstract, like the design on it is kind of like weird. But like, yeah, abstract strategy. This game almost made me go like cross-eyed though. Like trying to it's a very, very simple game. Yeah. But you've got, on any given turn, especially towards like the mid to late game, you've got like 12 different tiles maybe that all have different goals on them. Yeah. And so you're like, okay, this one needs to be next to 3 yellow. Okay, and this one needs to be next to 2 red, but also blue. And then this one, and you're like trying to like look at all of these things, and they're all just like, and you just like, at some point your mind just kind of like goes blank. And like, you just go like, I guess I'll just go for that one. Because like, it becomes like too much to like try and, I don't know, compute. Right. So it's like there's a lot of depth for the very simple game that it is. Yes. Next up, I played a solo game of Boon Lake.
There you go.
Little, solo game of the month. Yeah, man.
It's not like we're going to be playing that enough.
That's right, exactly. This was before. This was like just before. This may have motivated me to put it into the list, but Dave, one of our good friends, decided that like for the next year, we're only going to play like 6 games. Yeah. Or 4 games. 4 games, yeah. We're going to play like 6 times each. Like, and so over the course of like every second week, we'll get through like all of these games. And so we reached like to nominate one game. Yeah. Well, we gave like 2 choices.
We nominated 2, and then everyone else voted for 1.
That's right, of our games, and then so Boon Lake was one of the ones. So you'll probably see it coming up. Yes. Throughout the next year.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it all
together with Dune Imperium and and the Academy Games series, Barrage. Yeah. So those will be you'll hear those games coming up fairly frequently. I imagine that's right, at least in the next couple months. But really like Boon Lake. It's good. It's actually a great solo game. I really enjoy it.
Okay, so after playing a quick game of Nova Luna, it was almost time to go. It was that awkward, like, in between. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? It's time. It's guillotine time! Oh, God. So I played an awesome game of guillotine. And, this is, like, lovely. Mm-hmm. So good. Dallas, I don't think he liked it very much.
That doesn't surprise me, yeah.
But it's super luck dependent. Mm-hmm. You have your hand of cards that have the actions, and they just mess up the order of this row of cards that are all like noble heads that are going towards the guillotine. And at the end of your turn, so you play a card, you can play a card, or just take the card closest to the guillotine. And so when you play the card, you'll mess up the order, and then hopefully get a better value card at the end of the guillotine. Pick that up. But like, Dallas just ended up with no cards in his hand that actually swapped things. Okay. He just had all sorts of other random garbage. And so yes, you can get stuck that way. I find you can like mitigate things well enough. You at least have one card. And if you don't play a card, then you just draw more cards, and so you have more available to you later on. And so if it's okay, I sometimes just take the card at the end. Like, even if it's not the highest value, I still just kind of, until I get cards in my hand that I can really work with. But I really like Guillotine. Not much going for it, but I like it a lot.
Nice. Well, then I came over to this guy's house, and...
Choo-choo!
Yeah, this guy... What? Choo-choo?
On the train?
All right. Yeah, well, I guess I got off the train stop back in the 1930s. And,
I was waiting for him. A little sign. Right this way, Father.
We've been waiting for you with great expectation.
There's been terrible happenings at the manor home. We need your expert opinion.
I have no idea where this is going.
Oh no, it's October. Some sort of exorcism.
That's right. Sure. And so we played the Princess of Florence.
Yes.
So Dan laid this out for us, and this is a good game. I have long kind of been, I don't know if you knew this, but I've been like looking for this game for some time, but I kind of had like the old version still on my like wish list or whatever.
We gotta talk about that stuff more, because there was a used copy at Dragon's Den for longest time.
Yeah, so I kind of, this was kind of just like, that seems like a neat little game, but Daniel had this like new updated version, and
it looks good, man. It's gorgeous.
It does, yeah.
It's very pretty.
And so so this is like a polyomino sort of tile placement game, except that you can't make your pieces fit together because like the rule like specifically says you can't they can't touch. So you got all these like polyomino pieces, but you think like, oh, that little like L and this thing is gonna like fit together really nicely, and that's gonna like, but it's like, oh no, you can't. In fact, no tiles can touch, like just on the diagonal corners. That's fine, but like nothing else. You're like, oh, this is horrible. Unless you like advance in like this. I don't know. You spend enough workers or builders or whatever, and then finally you can touch.
When you successfully bid on a worker, then you can start.
But then it's like turn 7 and there's 8 turns.
Yeah. That's
You're like, great, I can touch with my final.
Yeah, because you need 2 builders in order to have that benefit.
So this is an interesting game where each player, like, at the beginning of their turn, picks one tile, and everyone bids on that tile, and then that tile is now off. Like, nobody else can take that tile for the rest of the round.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like...
Well, like, not just tile, though, like element.
Yes, exactly.
Like, there's also scoring cards available. Right. There's court jesters. There's these builders that we were talking about. So different things that are really, really beneficial for doing well in the game. Mm-hmm. But then once someone says we're bidding for this, and once it's successfully bid for, then that's off the table for the round.
Right. So yes, like only one person's getting a worker once a round. Only one person's getting a lake. Only one person's getting a card. Only one person's whatever. So so like even if you're like, oh yeah, no, okay, great, I'll spend my 2 workers so I can start touching pieces together. It's like, well, great, but like, not everyone can do that because there's only so many workers to go around, over the course of all the rounds and stuff like that. So a pretty interesting game. Yeah. I'd have to play it some more to really get a hang of it, but
I can't wait to play it more. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy this game. It's a wonky, so it's a fairly straightforward, I'd say it's a medium weight Euro game. Really, like, once you get the hang of it, it's easy peasy, but there's some weird stuff. There's your like main points, and then there's your work value points. Right. So there's this like kind of 2-layer system. The main action of the game is to play a profession card.
Right.
And then the profession card has requirements, and it's asking for you to have certain things that you built in your kind of play area. And so it might be looking for this kind of building, like a university, and maybe it wants a garden or a lake or whatever. And it's looking for certain things. And so if you fulfill these requirements, it's going to give you more and more work points. Mm-hmm. And then each round, there's a certain kind of like limit break. You have to reach this number of work points to actually score the card. Mm-hmm. And so you're trying to milk it for all it's worth. And then there's these other cards that you can use that give you additional work points. Right. But you have to like spend money for them as it gets complicated. Mm-hmm. It gets complicated to try and like make your work point value. And then once you score your work points, then you get money paid out, $1,000 for each work point that you make. And then you can spend as much of the money you earned from those work points for victory points for $2,000 a point. So it gets
It's tough to know when to sell. Like how much money should you keep if you made $10,000?
Because again, every round starts with an auction.
Right.
So yeah, it's like you need to have money in order to get the stuff you need to make the work points you need to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you also need points to win the game.
That's right. Yeah,
lovely. It comes together really cleanly, really well. This new edition is gorgeous. Princess of Florence. It's high up there for me. It's we'll see where it gets on my rankings, but
cool.
I like it a lot.
Nice.
Then I was over at Diego's.
Okay.
And I ended up playing the Princess of Florence that night too. But before that, I showed up when they were playing Bandida.
What the heck is Bandida?
So it's this very simple cooperative game where you play cards and you have to play them adjacent, and there's all these like underground paths moving from the prison cell out to the world. And so basically like the
cards... You try to escape from prison.
No. You're trying to prevent the bandita from escaping.
Okay.
But every time you play a card, you're accidentally opening up new pathways. So you have to like play in such a way, like you have 3 cards in your hand or something, and so you have to play from your hand no matter what. And sometimes your best card makes things worse. And so there's no like hidden traitor thing going on. You're all just earnestly trying to make dead ends for the bandita, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And so the game is to close up all the loops.
Right.
But we didn't.
Okay.
We did. They got away.
Oh man, you're a terrible guard here.
Yeah, so it's good for a laugh. Nothing to sneeze at. Fun times.
Cool. Well, in the games I play with Mary and Dallas, I don't know which one of them has the higher win rate. I've never maybe sat down to calculate that deeply, but there are some games that Dallas wins a lot more often than Mary. But there's a few games that Mary is better at than Dallas.
Okay.
And one of those games is Next Station London.
Okay, there you go.
And so we played this again, and I really do enjoy this game.
It's a great game.
It's just a short, like little roll and write thing, but it's it's just got some neat little things in it. You're drawing these subway routes. You're trying to get to all the neighborhoods, but you also want to get to make your subway go through main attractions, like whatever, Buckingham Palace and stuff like that. And so you're trying to and then you want to cross railways. You want to have a main central station where all your lines meet up and all these kind of different things. So you're kind of pulled in lots of different directions. But yeah, Dallas almost I don't know, he almost gives up on this game because Mary just beats him every time, and
just defeated.
She's good at it, One of the rare times where she's this is a game that I am categorically better at than all of you.
Yeah, there you go, Mary. Woo! Go, Mary! It's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your.
And I played it 3 times and lost every time.
So, okay. So you suck.
Or is this Mary? I think she's probably won all the times.
Okay, so our whole new kind of board game arrangement at Dave's place, where we're going to start, our goal is to be playing good games that we really enjoy more often. And
That's
really
right.
kind of squeeze all that we can out of the games, And so we're starting off with Dune Imperium. But it worked out really weird where you were coming... Then you were coming, and so he had already invited Drew, and so that was too many to play Dune Imperium together. But we had 2 copies of it, but instead of setting up, because the 2-player game is all right, but it's not great.
Sure.
And so then you ended up just playing something else with Dave. Yeah. So anyway, so we're starting with Dune Imperium. So I played Dune Imperium with Father Dan and Drew. And you know what? For it being my favorite game of all time, I suck. I suck so bad. But so one thing that we are realizing is that there's an aspect of this game. There's these cards that some of them sort of break the rules of the game or give you different benefits throughout the game. Some of them are specifically to be played during the conflict at the end of the round. And they give you additional troops in the conflict, help you secure the victory in a conflict, which is a big portion of how you get points in this game. And there's also endgame cards, which will get you additional victory points if you fulfill some requirements throughout the game. So getting a lot of those... that really helps. So that was Father Dan's strategy, is he just kept on going to places where he was getting intrigue cards. And he ended up getting the intrigue cards that just did better things for him. I was getting some intrigue cards too, but mine just didn't they weren't as cool.
Right.
And so that's an interesting thing that I'm interested to see as we play more, how much the intrigue cards really play into doing better or worse at this game. So Drew and I were we were just keeping pace, and Father Dan was in that pack, and then just kind of like in a round, he just sort of like got 3 points in one shot and ended the game. And we were like, oh, sweet. So again, still love this game. This is amazing. Right. This is such a great integration of worker placement and deck building. Your play way back when, you were like, no, it's not. It doesn't integrate well. Right. But we'll see. Now I'm excited to see.
I've got to play it 5 times. So whether I voted for Princess of Florence, just to be clear.
Yeah, just to be clear. That's true. Yeah, I put up Dune Imperium, Princess of Florence. So yes.
I got outvoted on that one. But, I'm sure I'll come to love it.
No, but you know what? Dune Imperium is... a solid game, and just tight, and it's tense the whole time. And it really comes down to that conflict at the end of each round. That's really where the bread and butter of this game is, because every time someone goes to a spot, they're getting resources, which is good, but they also are potentially getting troops and stuff into their conflict zone, and it's like and when you can synergize those things, you can like synergize the resources that you want to get for other purposes at the same time as you're getting people in the conflict. Aces.
That night that I was at Dave's, I ended up playing Shipyard.
Random.
They showed up to play Dune Imperium, and we played a game of Shipyard, which I'll say is Vladimir Suchi's my least favorite design of his, but like that's not saying much because the rest of his games are all amazing.
Yeah.
But like Shipyard's just all looker for me. Like it's got like 3 different colors of brown on it. Like it's not his most impressive. The tiles that you place in front of you, the little like network of canals that you make, that's kind of nice. But everything else is like okay, whatever. But yeah, Shipyard. Fun game anyways.
So do you just get contracts that you have to build a certain type of ship? Is that kind of what you're doing here? With
you're trying to sail a ship's a certain length, and like sometimes you end up just getting like a green guy, and the green guy wants you to have a lot of mass on your ship. So then you're like, I guess I should put some mass on this ship to score more points because I got these guys sitting around. Like sometimes you're not starved for resources in this game, so you end up with just like a bunch of parts, and you're like, okay, how do I fit this all in a ship? Like, there's only so much spots for crew, and there's only so many spots for engines and stuff like that. So you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll put a mast there and a gun right there, and if I got a gun, I guess I should put a soldier on the boat, and then and so you sail a certain amount of distance, and like sometimes if you sail the boat like 6 spaces, you might land on score all of your weapons double or whatever. Now I really want guns on my ship if I'm gonna.
Okay, so I got together with Scott. You guys all know Scott. He gave top 10 video for us, and so we got together via Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
And played some games on BGA, and it was getting late for him. Like he's 2 hours ahead right now, and so we got our buddy Curtis on there, and we played just a nice little game of Conspiracy. So this is kind of the Abyss, the card game.
Okay.
And I love Conspiracy. It's really light. It's really light. But basically, you're building a pyramid of cards that go down. And at the end of the game, you're going to score your largest clump of one color, 3 points each. So you're wanting to kind of get like a big helping of either squid or jellyfish or whatever. You want them to be adjacently connected to score, if you can get your whole pyramid that awesome, then all your cards score 3 points. That's not really going to work out in your favor. So you also, the cards of themselves have points on them. And then there's the whole key system. For when you get 3 keys, there's 2 types of keys. And if you get 3 keys of one type, you're going to be, or 2 keys of one type and then 3 keys in total, or something like that. And then you get to sort of get a location. And the location is like an endgame scoring bonus where you're going to score more points for each of your jellyfish or each of your whatever. So the main mechanism here is a draft where you're going to reveal 1, 2, or 3 cards, and then you're going to take one of those cards, and then the leftover cards are going to kind of go into like piles of their types. And so then instead of revealing cards, the player can just take all of one type of card and add it to their pyramid. So it is a really simplified version of Abyss.
Right.
And it works really well, I think, for that. So if you kind of got an itch for Abyss, but you don't want to spend... Like, this plays in like 10 minutes. So if you want just to get that kind of itch out of you without playing a full version of Abyss, Conspiracy is the way to go.
Right.
I like it a lot.
Cool. Well, then Mary and Dallas had a game night, and they invited over one of my nemesises. They invited over Father Matthew. The worst. I mean, he's fine.
Father Matthew's my pastor, who I work for.
His boss, you know.
Yeah, just in case anybody's wondering.
He'll always say nice things. But we played Isle of Skye together.
Okay.
So yeah, Isle of Skye. I mean, I think it works even better. Yeah, with more players, you just get more tiles out. Although shockingly, still never saw the tiles I needed. But you know, even when you play with more players, it's like, where the hell are the farms, or you know, whatever. But
it was on purpose.
Yeah, I guess so, probably. But yeah, we played Isle of Skye. I love Isle of Skye. Always will. It's just like, oh man.
Okay, so recorded a top 10 list with Daniel, and after that we went upstairs and we played a game, and he was looking, and he asked me, what's your second favorite game? I was like, It's a Wonderful World. What's your third favorite game? Dogs of War. What's your fourth favorite game? Oh, Elysium. You're looking for Elysium. And so he wanted to play Elysium, right? So we got upstairs and we did the 2-player variant. If you're going to play with 2 players with Elysium, always do the 2-player variant. You just take out any duplicates of cards, then put back a couple more of the level 1 or 2 or something.
Right.
And then you always play, even if you're not playing with the Apollo faction, you just play with their little additional piece, which allows you to see more cards.
Right.
If you're going to do that, I just say sneak in Apollo, because they're just a fun faction to play with, because then you get access to additional cards early. But played Elysium, and it worked so well with this variant at 2. And it just kept, I was like, oh yeah, this game is awesome. Mm-hmm. When this game decreases on my list, it's because I play it with 2 without changing anything. Right. but playing with the variant, there were enough cards coming up. We were able to make our sets. We were able to do our thing. I also often don't play with all the factions. I often play with the starting factions because I'm usually showing people. This time I was just like, whatever. And so we were playing with Ares, which has this kind of Seven Wonders style majority thing, where there's a prestige point, which is different from a victory point, which at the end of the game, if you have the most prestige points, you're going to get 18 victory points. If you have the second most, you're going to get 6 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So good. Mm-hmm. So good. And I played it again at Mary and Dallas's with Tom.
I did hear about that play, but...
And Mary was pretty pissed. So we played with Ares then too, and I kind of stole.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a swing.
Yeah.
Because if she's going for the majority in prestige points, and I'm going for the majority of the prestige points, like I'm getting 16 points, she's getting 8. Where she thought she was getting, like, that's between the two of us, that's a big swing.
For sure.
So Elysium has really come to life for me this past month. Just back in my good graces.
Nice.
Back just being like, oh yeah, this game is awesome.
Nice.
So good.
The next game that I played in the Father Matthew Roundup, or whatever you want to call it, was Jamaica.
Yeah! Jamaican me crazy!
So we played Jamaica, and Father Matthew won this one. And just a lot of shooting each other back and forth and run into spaces. And so I have, I'll say the old edition of Jamaica, whereas they have the new edition. I did not realize how much changed in the rules.
Okay, so I knew some things changed, but I didn't know what.
Yeah, so mainly the rule about when you can't pay at a spot, how far do you go back? And so in the first version, you just keep going back until you get to a spot that you can pay.
Yes.
Right? And so you just keep going back. Whereas here you roll like a pipped die, and it will tell you either to go back to the next back gold space, the next back food space, or the next back treasure space.
Oh.
And so sometimes you can even sometimes you can plan on okay, well I go here, I won't be able to pay, but then I'm gonna go fall back, and I'm gonna end up here.
Yes.
But you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, weird.
Because you go and you might end up getting to the wrong spot, or
I don't know if I like that.
It's a crazy thing, and so it threw me off. I was not in my. I was I don't know what the hell I'm doing in Jamaica anymore. But there were a few just a few changes that I was oh, that changes things fairly significantly.
Right.
But I mean, it's still a good game. We had a lot of fun.
That's sweet. Okay, last game for me that I played this month was with Mary in Dallas. Again, with Tom. This is the first game we played that night. They had it all set up nicely. Planet Unknown. Okay, so this is, again, in this rush of polyomino games.
Right.
This is a polyomino game. And this is a true blue polyomino game.
Yep.
They can touch, baby.
That's right.
They can touch. And so the cool thing about Planet Unknown is there's a Lazy Susan in the middle of the table with kind of two different polyomino slots, like a larger one and a smaller one. And on your turn, you choose out of which kind of column you're going to choose from. And then you turn the Lazy Susan around to face you. And then whatever is now facing the other players, they have to choose from that column. Right. So on your turn, you get to choose from anything. And then on everybody else's turn, you're just choosing one of two tiles. Man. So good, so good. I prefer other players' turns, right? Because I just like having. Okay, this is what I got. I'm going to make the most out of what I got, and then it's just a bunch of tracks. Just the different terrain types correspond to different tracks, and you just move up and you go. And as you go along, you're going to unlock being able to move up another track maybe, or now you can unlock maybe grabbing a tile of your choice, and there's just different bonuses so you're trying to synergize those. And then there's kind of shared competition goals. So like I'm competing with Dallas for this requirement, and I'm competing with Tom for this requirement. So you're kind of trying to keep tabs on what that is. Right. So I need to have like satellites on the edges of my board. And so I struggle with polyomino games. But the end game condition for this subverts my big problem. So I'm spatially inept. But as soon as you can't play any more tiles to your board, the game ends for everyone. So nobody gets the advantage because I suck.
That's right.
So that was really good. So I got like second place.
Nice.
I ended the game early. Other people were like, "What? No!" I was like, "Oh yeah." But I had gotten enough synergies. I gotten up, you know, on tracks and things, and I don't think I can say anything bad about this game. I really, really liked it.
I did not play this game in September.
No, but you have played it.
I've played it since. Yes. I think our game went a little bit longer than yours. And then the last game that we played with Father Matthew was Tsuro, the Path of the Wind or something like that, or the Game of the Path, something with a path. There's path in it somewhere. But yeah, you're literally just moving like a little token along a path, and when your path leads you off the board, you lose. And you're trying to put these tiles in, and Father Matthew didn't win that one. I think he was the first off the board, but
serves him right.
That's right. But anyways, it's a very very, very simple game. It maybe takes 10 minutes to play, 15 maybe. Yes. But it's a good, fun little experience.
That's awesome. Is that it?
That's it.
That's it. All right, party people, there we have it. All the games that we played in the month of September. What do you play in the month of September? Let us know down below. And now we are going to tell you what our favorite game that we played in the month of September is.
Sure. I would probably say Next Station London. I'm really digging that game right now. It's just something. It's light enough that every time I go to Marion Dallas, if they're willing to play it,
you're willing to play it.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it.
Next Station London gets the win.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun game.
Does it have to be my favorite board game of all time for it to be my best of the month? Or can my best of the month be... It's tough. I'm at a crossroads.
That's right. You play your number 1 game of all time and your number 4 game of all time.
Yeah, and Princess of Florence.
Oh, yeah, which is easily your number 50th or something.
So I think because I love the discovery aspect of the hobby, I love discovering a really good game. I'm always buying new games hoping that it's the best, awesome game.
Right.
And that doesn't always happen. And so my best of the month is Princess of Florence.
Okay.
Because I took a swing and it landed so well. And I love so many things about this game. Knocked it out of the park. Put me in, coach. So, Princess of Florence is my best of the month, with honorable mentions being Elysium and Dune.
Nice.
There we have our people. What was your best of the month? What did you love? What did you play? Let us know in the comments down below. And party people, if you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with friends and people who you think would enjoy this channel. And until next time, party people,
have the best day.